You can download the art seen in the video for free, link in the description. For a top-down 2D sword attack, we will first create the enemy scene. Create a new scene with a character body 2D node as the core. Right-click, hit rename. Rename it to enemy, then go to scene, scene save as, and save it. Add a sprite 2D node as a child. Set the texture to the entity art that you can download for free, link in the description. Set the H frames to 2 and the V frames to 2 as well. Drop down texture and set the filter to nearest as we are using pixel art. Then set the frame to 2 to select the enemy sprite. Add an animation player node as a child. Go to animation, hit new. We'll name it take damage. Set the total time to 0.35 seconds. Then enable snapping on the cursor and set the snap to 0.05 seconds. Now to make your animation tab a bit more readable, hold down Control or Command and use the scroll wheel to zoom in. While this animation tab is still open, select the sprite. We will then press the keyframe on top of the frame property and hit create. Move the playhead to 0.05, increase frame to 3 and keyframe. Move the playhead to 0.0, drop down transform and keyframe scale. Move the playhead to 0.2, set scale to 0.6 by 0.6 and keyframe. Move the playhead to 0.3 and keyframe frame at 3, then at 0.35, set frame to 2 and keyframe it, then set scale to 1 by 1 and keyframe it. Now to improve this animation further and make it much more smoother, select the first scale keyframe, then hold shift and select the last, right click the easing value and select ease out, then select the middle scale keyframe, right click easing and select ease in. Add a collision shape 2D node to the scene, set the shape to a rectangle, select it and set the size to be 12 by 12. This will act as the hitbox for the enemy. While enemy is selected, press the add a script button and hit create. Inside we can define whatever logic we want. For the simplicity of this tutorial, we will just have a variable for the health value, and we will create a custom function that holds a custom variable for the weapon damage. Then we will run the animation we just created, and we will decrease health by the weapon damage. Additionally, you can also have a check for if the health is less than 0, meaning that the enemy is dead. Then call Q3 to remove the enemy from the scene. For the player scene, create a new scene with a character body 2D as the core. Right click, hit rename it to player, then go to scene, scene save as, and save it. Add a sprite 2D node to the scene. Set the texture to the entity image that you can download for free, link in the description. Set the texture filter to nearest as we are using pixel art. Then set the H frames and V frames to 2. Add a sprite 2D node as a child of the sprite 2D node. Right click, hit rename. Rename this to sword. Set the texture to the sword image that you can download for free, link in the description. Set the H frames to 2. Then set the offset to -8 by -8. Make the position 4 on the Y axis. We set the offset so that the sprite rotates based on where the bottom of the sword is, and you can position it however you like after that. Add an animation player node as a child of the sword. We'll create a new animation, name it slash and hit OK. Set the total time to 0.3. Make sure cursor snap is enabled and set the snap to 0.5 seconds. While the animation tab is still open, select the sword, keyframe the rotation and keyframe the scale. Set the playhead to 0.25. Change the rotation to 255 and keyframe it. Set the playhead to 0.3. Disable ratio lock and set the scale to 0.8 by 0.95 and keyframe. Then hold shift and select the first 2 keyframes. Then also select the last scale keyframe. Right click the easing, set it to ease out. Then left click the rotation, right click its easing and set it to ease in out. Go to animation and create a new animation. Call it sword return. Set the total time to 0.65. And while the animation tab is open, select the sword. At the start of the animation, set rotation to 255, keyframe it. Set the scale to 0.8 by 0.95 and keyframe that as well. This is important as this is the state that we were in at the end of the slash animation. Set the playhead to 0.2 and keyframe the rotation again. This is because we want to provide impact after swinging the sword to make it feel more heavy and provide further meaning to each time the player attacks. Scroll over to the end of the animation and set the playhead to 0.65. And while the animation tab is open and this sword sprite is selected, reset rotation back to 0 and keyframe it. Then reset scale to 1 by 1 and keyframe that as well. We'll hold down Control or Command with the scroll wheel to zoom out. Hold Shift, then left-click both of the scale keyframes. Right-click their easing and set it to ease out. Left-click the first rotation keyframe. Hold Shift and select the second. Right-click the easing and set it to ease in out. Then select the last rotation keyframe. Right-click its easing and set it to ease out. Add an animation player node as a child of the sprite 2D. Right-click and hit rename. Rename it to Flip Anim. This will handle all the animations for the player looking left or right. Go to animation and hit new. Name it Look Left. Set the total time to 0.15. Make sure cursor snap is enabled and set the snap to 0.05 seconds. While the animation tab is open at the bottom, select the sprite 2D, keyframe scale, move the playhead to 0.15, set the scale to -1 on the x-axis, and keyframe it again. Now select the first keyframe, right-click its easing, and set it to ease out. Then select the last keyframe, right-click its easing, and set it to ease in. Now to save some time, we'll go to animation and hit duplicate, name it to look right. Now select the first keyframe, change the x value to -1, then select the last keyframe and change its value to 1. Finally, add a collision shape 2D node to the scene scene, set its shape to a rectangle 2D, select it, change the size to 8 by 3, and set its Y position to 3.5. This collider doesn't matter for this tutorial, as we won't be mentioning colliding with walls or anything like that, so feel free to change this collision shape in any way that you want, that it suits your game. Select the player node, then add a script. Inside we'll have a constant for movement speed. This is a constant because I don't intend to change the value while the game is running. This movement code will be very basic as I intend to just focus on the sword attack. We will then have a variable for the current look direction. This is to help with running the flip anim, so we don't repeat the same animation multiple times in a row. Then we will have 4 variables for the sword attack, and slash will determine if we are allowed to attack. This is important as we want to have a cooldown between attacks, where we allow time for the sword to return to its starting animation position. Slash time is the total amount of time in seconds that the slash animation will take. Sword return time is the total amount of seconds that the sword return animation will take, and weapon damage is the amount of damage that the sword does. These 3 variables will be helpful in the case that you want different swords that do varying amounts of damage and that have varying cooldown times and such. Additionally, these are export variables to assist with prototyping and getting the numbers correct, as you can just edit them in the editor on the right. Also, you can make them regular variables if you wish. Inside the built-in physics process function, we will create a very basic top-down movement system where we create a variable called input that will return a vector 2 with a 0, 1, or -1 in either axis based on what buttons are pressed or not pressed. We also add normalize so that the angular movement is the same speed as moving in one direction. Then we set the built-in velocity variable to input multiplied by move speed multiplied by delta. We multiply by delta so that the movement is frame rate independent. Then we call the move and slide to allow the velocity variable to move the player's position. Looking left and right, we will check current look dir respectively. Then check if the mouse position is on the other side of the player, meaning that we need to update the look direction. Then we run the respective animation on the flip anim, and we set the current look dir appropriately so that we don't run the animation multiple times over. To make the player look up and down, we will check if the mouse's Y position is more than the player's Y position, meaning that we are looking down. Then we set the sword's show behind parent to false as it appears in front of the player. We set the sprite's frame to 0, else we set show behind parent to true, and frame to 1. For the sword attack, we will first need to add the input for attacking. Go to project settings, then go to input map, add a new action, type attack, and hit add. Then press the plus, drop down the mouse buttons, select left mouse button, and hit OK. You can also add any other buttons that you want to activate the attack, then press close. We will first check if the attack animation is being pressed, and if we can slash, then we run the slash animation and set can slash to false. To make this animation last for as long as the slash time variable, we will set the speed scale to the length of the slash animation divided by slash time. We will then create a custom function called spawn slash, which we can call inside of the sword's animation player. To do so, select the animation player node, select the slash animation, set the playhead to 0.05, then hit add track, add a call method track, select the player node, then press OK. Right click and insert key, select the spawn slash function and hit open. If you keyframe the function into the wrong position, please hold left click and drag it around until it's in the right spot. Now to make sure that the sword returns to its resting state after attacking, select the animation player node, go to node, signals, right click animation finished and hit connect. Make sure the player node is selected and hit connect. We will check if the animation name is slash, then we will run the sword return animation. Then we set the total animation time of the sword return animation in the same way we did before. On the else, which means that the sword return animation completed, we will reset the can slash variable so that we can attack again. Before we add the sword slash logic, we first need to create the sword slash scene. Create a new scene with the node 2D as the core. Right click, hit rename it to sword slash, and go to scene save as, and save it. Add a sprite 2D node to the scene. Set the texture to the slash animation that you can download for free, link in the description. Change the texture filter to nearest as we are using pixel art. Set the H frames to 5, then drop down ordering, and set the Z index to -1. Or you can set the Z index to whatever number that you would like. Just make sure that this slash appears behind the player sprite. Then we will set the offset to -16 on the X axis. This is so the origin is properly set from when we change the scale of the sprite. Add an animation player node as a child. Go to animation and hit new, name it slash. Set the total time to 0.65. Make sure cursor snap is enabled and set the snap to 0.05 seconds. While the animation tab is open, select the sprite 2D, keyframe frame at 0, keyframe scale at 1 by 1, and keyframe position at 0, 0. Then drop down visibility, select modulate, drag the A value to 0, and keyframe it. Move the playhead to 0.1, reset the modulate, and keyframe it. Move the playhead to 0.2, set the frame to 1, and keyframe it. Move the playhead to 0.3, set the frame to 2, and keyframe it. Move the playhead to 0.4, set the frame to 3, and keyframe it. Move the playhead back to 0.4, set the scale to 1.175 by 0.825, and keyframe it. Move the playhead to 0.5, set the frame to 4, and keyframe it. Then move the playhead to 0.6, set the scale to 0.925 by 1.075, and keyframe it. Set the position to 56 on the x-axis and keyframe it. Then keyframe modulate. Finally, move the playhead to 0.65, select modulate, change the A value to 0, and keyframe it. Now, to make this animation smoother, while holding shift, select the first keyframe for modulate, position, and scale, and select the last keyframe for scale and modulate. Right-click their easing and set it to ease out. Then select the middle keyframe of scale, then hold shift and select the last position keyframe and the two middle modulate keyframes. Right-click their easing and set it to ease in. Add an area 2D node to the scene, then add a collision shape 2D node as a child. This will be for detecting enemies. Set the shape to a rectangle 2D with a size of 50 by 16 and set the position to 25 on the x-axis. Now inside the animation we just made, make sure that the playhead is at 00, then keyframe disabled as false, then move the playhead to 0.6, enable disabled, and keyframe it. Finally, select the / node and add a script. Then select the animation player node, go to node, inside of signals, right click the animation finish signal and hit connect and connect it to the node. Then select the area 2D node, right click the body entered signal and connect it. Make sure it connects to the / node. Inside the code, we will have a variable for weapon damage. Don't worry about setting this, as we will set it when the player spawns the slash into the game. Inside the built-in ready function, we will first make sure that this slash looks at the global mouse position. This will set the rotation properly. Then we'll grab the animation player and run our slash animation. Inside the animation finish signal, we'll check if the animation name is the slash animation, then run Q-free so that the slash is removed from the scene once the animation completes. Inside the body entered signal function, we can grab the body, then call the take damage function and pass the weapon damage variable. This function is the one we created earlier for our enemy, and again, don't worry about the weapon damage variable, as the player will set this later. Now to make sure this slash can only run this take damage function on enemies and not the player, go to the enemy scene, select the enemy node, then inside of node go to group, press the plus, name it enemy and hit OK. This group will act as a unique identifier, and keep in mind that you will need to repeat this group creation part for each enemy in your game. Alternatively, you can either add the enemy to a group within the ready function, or you can create a unique constant or variable that only enemies have and check for that. For now, I will keep the enemy adding to the ready function, so we don't have to create a group called enemy for each individual enemy scene. Back in the / code, we will check if the body is in the enemy group, then run our code to make the enemy take damage. Now to spawn this / scene, go to the player script. We will create a constant called / preload and set it to a preload of the / scene. We use preload so that the variable is equal to a reference to the actual scene, not just a string value. Inside the spawn / function, we will create a temporary variable that will instantiate the / preload. Instantiate is needed to add the preload scene into the game scene, and we use a temporary variable with instantiate so we can add multiple unique copies of the same scene. Then we change all the variables within the /. This includes the global position, setting it to the player's global position. We then grab the /'s animation speed and set it to its / animation length divided by /time so that its animation lasts for the same amount of time as the / animation. We then set the flip V on the / sprite so that the long part of the sprite is at the top and flipped correctly when slashing on either the left or right side of the player. Then we set the weapon damage variable to the player's weapon damage variable. And lastly, we grab the player's parent, which would be the level scene, and we add the / to the scene. Now you have a / animation with configurable time for the slash and cooldown, as well as variable weapon damage and an enemy that you can attack with this weapon slash. And don't forget that you can check the project files, link in the description.